Hey, this is Chris, keeping it real. How you doing? Watched the Patriots game yesterday, and I was pretty disappointed because I like their team. But I don't like their team because of the way they're coached and the way they play and the way they play like a team, and I appreciate that. So my prediction for, having said that, my prediction is the Patriots probably will not go to the Super Bowl this year. And watching yesterday's game, and I'm not a big sports commentator, and I'm not one of these people who were jumping on the Tom Brady's done bandwagon. I think he still played fine. I think that the main problem is that their defense really is suspect. And, looking back at Patriots teams over the years, the defense has always been the weak link. And yesterday they kind of proved that. They couldn't stop the Dolphins on anything. They stopped them on like maybe 3 or 4 drives of the whole game. And it's just, they pretty much sucked. They're a good defense against teams that aren't that good, and they're not a very good defense against teams that are good. And so given the fact that the teams that are in the playoffs all have really good offenses, except for maybe Tennessee, they might get past Tennessee. There's no way in the world they're going to beat it. I don't see it unless they just have one of those magical runs and everybody starts playing the way they're supposed to. So their defense is awful. Their receivers are not very good. They're just not. I mean, they don't get open. And then we could probably speculate that maybe Tom Brady's arm is not as accurate as it used to be, and it isn't, but still, they don't get open. They're obviously not in sync with their quarterback. Maybe they should have kept some of the guys they let go earlier in the year, not Antonio Brown because he's a psycho, but some of the other ones, maybe they should have held on to him just a little bit longer. I'm thinking. The only ray of hope that I can see for them doing anything is if they commit to running the ball and running the ball a lot. That was the only good thing about yesterday, is that they did run the ball pretty effectively. And given the fact that their offensive line has been absolutely shredded this year with injuries, I'd say decimated, but decimated means to reduce in value by 1/10. And so they haven't been decimated. They have been decimated. Okay, they've been decimated 6 times over. So now they have about 30% of the strength they had at the beginning of the season. So I don't think that they're gonna go very far. So I think if you want to look at underlying causes, I think the looking at it from a holistic perspective, I think basically all of the good coaches in the NFL have pretty much caught up to Belichick at this point. I think that's part of it. It's like he used to be like a singular individual who, he's clearly not, especially after yesterday's game. Of course, it was one of the coaches that he trained on how to coach who beat him, right? So that's good. But still, it just illustrates that the other coaches in the league are catching up to him. You don't have to do it the Patriot way to win games, but you do have to know how to do schemes, and you do have to know how to coach a team. And there's a lot of other guys who know how to do that. And I think the last thing I would add to my analysis is that I think the Patriots have just played too cheap way too long. Somebody made a comment. I was watching a Cowboys game one week. And I don't watch a lot of football, maybe one game every other week, or half a game here, half a game there. But somebody made a comment, if Bill Belichick had the Cowboys personnel, there would be no doubt he'd win a Super Bowl. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think if they would spend all of the money they could spend and really try to get some better players, I think they would do a lot better. And I think they've just been so cheap for so long, and they do well because they stress the team ethos. But let's face it, they're a middle of the road team, and it's that teamwork that gets them over the hump with a lot of other teams. And so they can beat a team that's a little bit better than they are, but they're not going to beat some of these remaining teams that are, have personnel-wise, there's no comparison. So there you go. You have any questions or comments? What do you think of my analysis? Any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate when you do. We'll see you on the next video.